Now, we're here in London, and we're about to talk about A Complete Unknown. I want to ask, has anyone suggested to either of you the idea of going behind the Savoy Hotel and recreating that photograph?
No, but I've thought about it. I mean, I don't think it'd be under construction as it was then. But I actually don't even know where the Savoy Hotel is.
It's on the Strand, right?
Oh, he's good.
Yeah.
Oh,
He's good.
I mean, this is one of those movies that has so many real-life people in it. Like, so many.
Yeah.
Did you ever catch yourself either in the mirror when you were fully Pete Seeger or Bob Dylan, and in this room full of other people looking like genuine articles, and just go, this is the most surreal experience of my life, particularly those party sequences?
I don't know about surreal. I thought dignified was honestly the word that came to mind.
Nice.
Because I thought there was something very poignant and humbling about all coming together to bring life to something that actually happened, and something that sort of, a series of years and cultural happenings that influence culture today.
And means so much to so many people. Like, I was telling my parents that I was about to interview you guys about this movie, and politely they have 20 questions. Like, they're fascinated. Did you find your friends and family immediately saying, hey, what are you doing? What scenes are you shooting? What can you tell me about it? Has there been a fascination around this film?
Some people in my parents' generation who were really lit up about Joan Baez and Pete and people like that. We had to shut down, externalize on this. I think
that's true.
It's weird enough to take on the burden of iconic and kind of beloved people, and you can't really do it if you feel like there's an audience.
Yeah.
And you almost mentally have to, even my mother-in-law, I really did have to say, no, I can't bring you pictures from the process. If you don't invest in it all the way, it'll come off the rails very quickly and get into a kind of play acting that you don't want to be doing, I think.
Hopefully, in the success of the movie, not going to be what the majority of audiences. We're going to come into the movie knowing, that is to say, people aren't super educated on what happened at Newport, and particularly, I would say, my generation. You know, I can't speak for people that are massive Bob fans or massive Joan Baez or Pete Seeger fans, but so to that point, I thought it was, as Edward just said, most important to keep the whole project on the rails and not be, flattered by what people that are already fans of the subject would think about what we're doing.
And speaking of flattery, and I hate to do this to you, Edward, but you are sensational as Pete.
Oh, thank you.
I think there's a lot of attention around Mr. Dylan himself in the room right here.
Deservedly.
But I did that thing I don't normally do, which is I started watching interviews with Pete Seeger afterwards, and it is jaw-dropping. So I have no question here. I'm just saying you're very
nice.
good
Thank
indeed.
Thank
and
you.
hats off.
You can't find really anyone who says a bad thing about him. He had an almost Jesuit-like demeanor and reputation, and dialing into someone like that's frequency is kind of a warm bath. You kind of don't want to get out of it.
You like being that guy. Yeah, I get that. Did you get any memorable director's notes from James Mangold on this one? Because it is such a special project. Were there any particular sort of whispers in the ear that have stuck with you?
It's not a dodge when I say I feel like I learned the most from Jim and what he wouldn't say, or if I badgered him with questions. And he's a director of such experience and of such a high caliber that there's no vainglory or no vanity in like the note he's giving you. I always feel like you got to beware in life those that get more out of the advice they're giving you or direction they're giving you than the actual direction they're giving you. And thankfully I haven't worked with a lot of people like that, or don't have any, mentors like that. But Jim's the king of that. He's not thrilled to hear the sound of his own voice. So I feel like the most I got out of working with Jim was, coming up to him, badgering him about something, and he would go, you basically figure that out yourself, to some degree.
I agree. I think Jim is very much what I would call a get-on-with-it director. Jim's in a really wonderful blend of great confidence, a lot of confidence in his own judgment. Knew Timmy was going to go crazy deep on Dylan, and that I was going to go deep on Pete, and that Monica was going to go deep on Joan. And he basically was saying, bring it all in. Bring me everything you got. Bring me what I'm expecting and what I'm not expecting, and throw a bunch of stuff against the wall, and I will sort out. I'll find the nuggets of gold. What Jim did for all of us that was really great in a psychological sense was he liberated us from the burden of, the Wikipedia page entry of each character. He allowed it to be, I don't want to say a fable because that's a little too precious, but he made us all comfortable with the idea that it was going to float somewhere between the documentary reality and a pure fantasy, and that was an okay place to be. And I think it was liberating.
I will say there are moments, particularly the open mic night stuff, early doors, which are just sort of magical.
Mm-hmm.
Would you say that might be the most nervous you've ever been on set? Because I would have been bricking it at the idea of recreating that moment.
I definitely felt like it was the smallest helicopter landing I ever had in front of me, in a sense. You know, just when you're playing a real person with like specific behaviorisms, and that's what pushed me outside my box, or maybe inside my box as an actor. You know, to line that up and still find a sense of freedom in play. And shout out to Jim again, because he's the one that really created that. The importance of that sense of play, the importance of artistic interpretation, which isn't obvious when you play titans of culture, and it can be really self-satisfying and all at once neutered and kind of useless to go, all right, well, this is exactly how it happened. And then, you know, you might as well just go watch the documentary footage or listen to the original music, you know?
Yeah. And, you know, two things can exist, and that's great. But I want to end with something reasonably ridiculous, because a friend of mine who happens to be the Radio 1 breakfast DJ, some Greg James guy, he decided that he would like a Timothée Chalamet mustache. He thought he'd grow one.
Okay, all right, let's see it.
He thought he'd grow one.
Let's see it. It's a delicate balance to strike. Can't go too thick.
I'm not sure he got it all the way right. This is, and I want you both to judge this. This is his Instagram carousel. Be the judge.
Let's see. I wanted to try and grow Chalamet tache over Christmas. 3 weeks of growth, pathetic and weirdly light. Hey, I'm impressed. I thought you were gonna show me, you know,
a pencil.
But I had a plan, and Helena's mascara. Much better. That is much better. The ladies love it. Well, not all of them. Jesus Christ. It's his wife, Bella.
Yeah.
I'm shaving it off immediately by order of the best-selling author, Bella Mackey. I'll miss you, little guy. Big shout out, Greg James. I love a man with two first names as a name.
Out of 10, what are you giving the tache?
I'm gonna give it a 6.3.
And Edward, you're not as complimentary?
No, it's sub 5 to me.
Guys, thank you so much for indulging me. There's so much more to talk about this movie, and we've barely scratched the surface. I really hope you get to enjoy all the compliments and plaudits that you absolutely deserve with this film.
Thank you. Sorry, man.
I know, we've just gone from that to this, but genuinely,
Yeah.
Sorry.
this is a bit of something special, and I hope you're very
Thank
proud
you,
of it.
Ali.
Thanks a lot.
Thank
Truly.
you. And
It was fun to do.
hope your parents listen to this.
Oh, yeah.